People often say to me, how can there be poverty in the UK? I think my answer really is that poverty is a snapshot of somebody's life. It may be that 2 months ago they were in employment, had a great job, had a company car, they have a big house, they have the biggest TV you've ever seen in their front lounge. But actually, they're made redundant, start spending their savings. They're then maxing out on their credit cards, hoping that there'll be a job just around the corner. That job doesn't come as soon as they would like. And for a moment there, they plunge into poverty. On the other spectrum of the scale, we have a large number of people in this community who are on benefit. Something like 20% of the population around Clay Cross are on some sort of benefit, whether that be through illness or lack of work. Typically when a client comes to see us, we recognise that they've gone through a process before they come into our church building. Part of that process is that they've got to a point in their lives where they can't afford food. They normally have used up all their saves. Normally there's been some sort of loan or a credit card that's been used that might be maxed. And because of the way that British people are, the last thing they want to do is seek out charity. And so actually when they do eventually come into our building, they can be at the lowest point of their lives. So when we talk and give them an opportunity to talk about all their problems and perhaps signpost them to other organisations that can lift them out of poverty, and then the food arrives, and that's normally the key moment. For some people it's more food than they've seen in a long, long time in one go. Whereas a family of 4, it could be 5 or 6 carrier bags full. It's quite a lot. We've had comments like, "Oh, Daddy, look, food for the first time, seen so much." So a real impact on them. And suddenly an understanding about what we're about as a church and what we're about as Clay Cross Food Bank. I think if we want to try and understand how our food bank works, we need to follow the food. So where's the food start from? Well, we collect all our food. We don't buy any of our food. All our food is donated from the local public. This is really important because it engages the local public into what we're about, and it makes them part of the process. It makes them part of the solution as well. It's something that the public can do. If they provide the food, then we'll distribute it. So the food then arrives at our warehouse. We're very fortunate that our local council gave us a warehouse. We don't have to pay any rent or rates or any other service charges. So when a client arrives at one of our food banks, they'll have their voucher, and they normally try and produce that quite quickly. But we welcome in everybody, and we get them sat down with a volunteer who's trained really just to listen to them. We offer them a warm drink, maybe a biscuit or a piece of cake, and then we start talking about their voucher. Meanwhile, while this conversation is going on, in another room there's a team of packers, and they are packing food for the whole family of this client. So it might be for themselves, it might be as a couple, it could be a small family. The biggest family we've ever fed has been 10. It's quite a number. And once that food is packed, it's then brought back in to the client and presented, and we check and make sure everything's right in there. And then the client signs for it, and they're on the way, and maybe we'll see them again in the future. We also, on our food bank days, have volunteers helping out from the congregation. And I think for anybody else, other congregations that are looking at how can we improve the numbers in our congregation, I would say first, meet the needs of your community, and then they will come.